Hey people, Manvesh here. This is the 5th day of Python programming tutorials. Today we shall discuss about strings and also about how to manipulate lists. So I know we have been over the discussion of strings, but let's bear with me for a second. Let's make up a variable a equals hello, and then b equals world. So any guesses what would happen when I print A? We'll get hello. Okay, let's try to print print B, and then we get world. Now what happens if I make up a variable named C equals A plus B? Now adding up strings or text, that doesn't make sense. I mean, that doesn't sound natural. So what will happen? Let's just see what happens. So our strings, they got joined together. It doesn't matter. I could write C equals A plus B, or I could just here print A plus B. It's the same thing, and we get hello world. We could put up a space here, and see, this is it. We get our hello world. So in Python, when you use this addition operator, you add up two strings together. How about we try something? A equals. Remember the very first day when we tried to add two digits, right? And it wasn't, it's like you could print out the addition of digits, that's okay. Let's see, you could print 35 out, that's fine. But what next? Well, you could do this. The answer is, and what we did before was used two print statements to print the answer. Yeah, I mean, see, it works. The answer is 35. Sure. But we could do something else. We could just add a plus, and then we could add C, and we'll just try to print, and there should be an error. Oh, there's a big error. So the thing here is, this is an integer, this is an integer. Adding two integers, you get an integer. So C is an integer, but when you try to add an integer to a string, it does not work. This is a string and this is an integer. Now to convert an integer into a string, you use the str function. You just put str around this C, and that should do it. And see, the answer is 35. Now, yes, this is a tedious process kind of, because you'll have to convert the values again and again, and it's just kind of, it gets boring, I know. Even while making for loop programs for I in range 100, we'll have to go through a lot of trouble. This is the space. I have to put a plus. I'll have to convert it into an str, and then plus number. You'll see what I mean in just a second. I'll put a +1. See, this is, I mean, you have to write this much, and by looking at it, by, like, you know, looking at it for the first time, you won't even understand what is supposed to print, but it prints this. This is the first number. Yeah, it should be first, second, third, but just forget that. Fourth, fifth, sixth, and this is how it prints, and it's just tedious. It's like a hassle, and you are not supposed to do this. Programming is supposed to make your life easy. So during a recent update of Python, what happened is they introduced something known as FStrings. Now we'll have an example for that. B equals 20, let's say. C equals A plus B. I mean, it's totally unnecessary to put spaces in between, but it just makes the code look really cool. So yeah. So you have to add an F here, this F, and then you start a string, and then you say the answer is, and then you put a space, and then you put a curly bracket, and then you put a C inside it. Now the print should be the answer is, and then a space, and then the value, whatever this answer is, it should go here exactly at this place, and it should just print out. Let's see if that happens. And it does. The answer is 87. It does. It's perfect. We could try something else. Let's do a for loop for I in range 20. We'll just tab it over, and now see, previously you had to use addition signs, and that was very tedious. So you could just do this. This makes your life a lot easier. Let's see, and this is a 0th value for second, third, and fourth, and this is it. We get the same thing. Oh, and even we could add up something in here. We could just say this, and it would still work. And that's it. FStrings are really easy, and you don't have to just use them in print statements. You can use them anywhere. You can just say A equals 15, and then call B equals the answer is, and just put a curly bracket and say A. Make sure you put up an F here. You just save it and run it, and oh, oops, we didn't print anything. So print the value of B, and we'll just clear this out, and see, the answer is 15. Now FStrings don't just work for integers, they work for a lot of different things. A could be my name, for example, and I just could say my name is space blank. We'll just see that if that works, and my name is Aman. That works. It's perfectly fine. So it could come in handy for a lot of different tasks. For example, you could get an input. What is, oops, always use strings. What is your name? I will just put that's an escape character. I'll probably explain that later on. And we could just greet the user with hello, nice to meet you. And you could probably guess what's gonna happen. It will ask me to for my name. I'll just write Aman, and it will say hello Aman, nice to meet you. Now if you try doing this the traditional way, it would be a lot more difficult. Believe me, I'll just show you. We'll have to add up an plus here. We'll have to make an A plus. Yeah, it's a hassle. You'll have to do this, and even then it's just, yeah, I just hate it. To be very honest, I just hate it. Always use FStrings. They are awesome. Let's try this, and yeah, see, hello Aman, nice to meet you. Now if someone by mistake put up a digit, it still works, but you have to always be sure. I have to remove this. Yeah, it works. Make sure that you learn the importance of FStrings because they are important. Okay, so moving on from FStrings, we'll go to the list section today, and let's make up a list again. Okay, we'll make up an empty list, and I gave you guys a task about printing out all the even numbers. So let's just go over a few functions of the list. So I could just do this a.append. It's a function, and whatever I write here, I could write 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. Let's just put 2, and then I could just print A. And so now the value of A is 2. So value of A used to be nothing. We'll just wait a second. Value of A before append, and So value of a before append was blank, after append it was 2. We could again append something. We could just append 3. Let's see. So now the value is 2 comma 3. It doesn't matter, it could be 1, it could be 1 comma 3 now. You could just keep on doing this. A dot append 7, and just print. So 1, 3 and 7. So 1 got added to the list, then 3 got added to the list, and then 7 got added to the list. Now obviously why do this? You could just change the list here, 1 comma 3 comma 7. See, that works, that's easy. So this append function, it's used usually in for loops. So I'll tell you what do I mean by that. We'll just keep this print statement. For I in range, I'll just put 10 maybe, let's see. A dot append 2 times I, and we'll just empty this list out and print of A after append. Then we'll just print. So before doing anything, the value was blank, so we got this is the blank value. Then we used up a for loop to cycle through the digits, so it will go from 0 and then it will add the value 2 into 0. So it first added 0, then in the next loop it went from 1, then 1 into 2 is 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, and this is how you can get a set of even numbers. You could try 11, I don't know, you'll get up till 20. Yeah, that means it's going till 22, but you wouldn't get that 22 because of the iteration. It starts from 0. You could do a lot more things. You can go for odd numbers, and then you get 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. Append function is really useful. Personally, I use it for adding up prime numbers to a list. So let's just say I had a function prime finder, or let's just say prime finder. I'll give it a minimum value and a maximum value, and when I click enter, it will just find all the primes between the limits minimum and maximum. I just say minimum is 1, maximum is 10,000. So this function, I will also talk about functions tomorrow, but this function basically will take minimum value and maximum value. So it will give me primes from 1 to 10,000, and it will just append all of that values into A. So that is how it's supposed to work, and yeah, that's it. That's it for today. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything, feel free to reach me out down below in the comments or ask me personally. I hope you had fun, and happy programming.